Hear ye, hear ye. The following scene is a reenactment of Perry versus Schwarzenegger, the Prop 8 trial in U.S. District Court. Gary Segura, professor of American politics at Stanford University, expert witness for the plaintiffs on political power of gays and lesbians, is under direct examination by the plaintiff's lawyer, Theodore Boisterous. The plaintiffs in this case are two loving same-sex couples who simply want to marry, just as any heterosexual couple in America has the right to do. Court is now in session. Let me ask you two more questions. In light of legislative measures that provide some protections to gay men and lesbians in California, and some of the prominent politicians that Mr. Thompson pointed out to you, who have been allies in one way or another of gay men and lesbians, do you believe that gay men and lesbians still lack political power as you defined it?
I do. The series of questions Mr. Thompson asked me about the statutory enactments in California and the number of politicians in California who have been supportive of the gay community, I think serve as the basis of the skepticism regarding the conclusion that I draw, and I would want to respond to those in a couple of ways. The first is I repeatedly in my testimony suggested that we need to look across levels of government. We need to look across jurisdictions in order to evaluate the political power of the group. Protections afforded in that end to the county line in the modern society are hardly protections at all. And the same would be true at the state line. And we need to look not just at the federal level or not just at the locality. We need to look at all levels of government. But more importantly, we look at the series of statutory enactments, some of them pursuant to the court decisions, some of them overturned by ballot initiative in several states. And when the skepticism is expressed, I do a mind experiment that I do with my students frequently, which is I explore the counterfactual. So imagine for a moment I was going to write an opinion that says gays and lesbians are powerful in the political system. So I go and I survey the world and I survey the literature and I say, well, the government suggests that gays and lesbians are experiencing increasing levels of violence and represent 70% or more of the hate-inspired murders. Could I see that and still conclude the group is powerful? Well, conceivably, but there are other factors. Could I look at the circumstances around the country and say, well, in 29 states, gays and lesbians could still be dismissed without cause for their identity from their source of employment, that they enjoy no protections. Could I observe that and still conclude the group was powerful? Well, possibly. Could I observe the even small statutory protections designed to redress previous disadvantages that have been challenged at the ballot over 150 times, and gays and lesbians lose more than 70% of the time, and still conclude the group is powerful? Presumably. Could I look at the enactment of constitutional exclusion and establishment as excluded from the civil institution as a citizen that is separate, that is treated separately from all other citizens, and conclude the group is powerful? I could conceivably observe one or maybe two of those things and still decide that there's other evidence to suggest that the group is powerful. To observe all those things and to conclude that gays and lesbians have the political power to protect their basic rights in the political system would be the political science equivalent of malpractice. I couldn't possibly draw that conclusion.
No further questions, Your Honor.